Most people watch true crime shows for entertainment. They see reenactments, dramatic music, and shocking twists, and when the episode ends, they move on. But sometimes the methods shown on TV don't stay on the screen. Sometimes they are copied in real life. And today's case is one of the most disturbing examples of that. This story begins in Phoenix, Arizona. In 2019, Ryan Matthews, a 36-year-old man, lived a quiet and unremarkable life. He helped his father manage a small community church and handled basic maintenance work around the property. Despite being in his mid-30s, Ryan had no stable career, no family of his own, and depended heavily on his father for financial support. He wasn't a criminal. He wasn't violent, at least not on the surface. But everything changed the day he met Amanda Lewis. Amanda was 33 years old, a mother of two, recently separated from her husband after a bitter relationship. One afternoon, she arrived at the church with her children, visibly exhausted, emotionally broken, and searching for help. Ryan noticed her immediately. He listened to her story, he comforted her, and he offered help without asking for anything in return. To Amanda, Ryan seemed kind, selfless, and safe. After her divorce was finalized, Amanda lost custody of her children and fell into deep emotional isolation. She had no close family nearby and very little support. Ryan stepped in. Within months, they moved together to Mesa, Arizona, where Ryan rented a small apartment and started a modest tea leaf resale business to support them both. They never married. They never labeled the relationship. But they lived like husband and wife. At first, things felt stable. Ryan worked long hours. Amanda stayed home, managing the apartment, but slowly cracks began to appear. Ryan became controlling. He disliked Amanda speaking to her family. He didn't want visitors. Even phone calls caused arguments. Over time, Amanda's emotional stress worsened. She suffered from neurological episodes that caused sudden aggression, confusion, and loss of control. During arguments, she sometimes became physically violent, throwing objects, hitting Ryan without realizing the damage she was doing. The relationship turned toxic. On May 12, 2020, after a long day at work, Ryan returned home hungry and exhausted. He asked Amanda about dinner. That simple question triggered a violent argument. Amanda struck him repeatedly with a washboard. Something inside Ryan snapped. In a moment of uncontrollable rage, he grabbed her and applied pressure, far more than he realized. By the time he let go, Amanda was no longer breathing. It wasn't planned. It wasn't premeditated. But what Ryan did next defined who he truly was. Instead of calling police, instead of asking for help, he chose to hide the truth. This happened during COVID lockdowns. Neighbors had left. Streets were quiet. No one was watching. Ryan placed Amanda's body inside a large plastic drum left over from nearby construction. He added chemicals and sealed it with cement, believing it would stop decomposition and odor. Then he placed the drum inside his apartment, like an old piece of furniture, and he went on living. For nearly 2 years, Ryan slept feet away from a body. No missing person report was filed. Amanda had been isolated from her family. No one came looking. Ryan later admitted that he binge-watched hundreds of true crime episodes, studying methods, learning how criminals disposed of evidence. He believed he was smarter. He was wrong. By 2022, the drum began to fail. Toxic gases and fluids escaped. The smell became unbearable. Ryan's landlord confronted him. Cornered, Ryan confessed everything. But instead of calling police, the landlord panicked. Together, they transported the drum to a remote desert area and attempted to destroy the remains. Whatever bones remained were crushed and discarded. They believed the evidence was gone forever. Then came the mistake. In 2024, Ryan was stopped near Arizona State University, illegally carrying a firearm. Police detained him. During questioning, an officer recognized his name from an old domestic disturbance involving Amanda. When investigators contacted Amanda's sister, they learned she hadn't heard from her since 2020. Under pressure, Ryan broke. He confessed. But without physical evidence, prosecutors faced a nightmare. Ryan retracted statements, changed his story, exploited legal loopholes. As of now, the case remains legally complex, and justice remains uncertain. This story leaves us with a chilling truth. Crime doesn't always look violent at first. Evil doesn't always plan ahead. And sometimes the most dangerous thing isn't anger. It's fear. Fear of consequences. Fear of losing control. Fear that turns a mistake into something unforgivable. True crime isn't entertainment when it becomes instruction. And the real horror is that some people are watching not to learn,